Working with kids is the most rewarding, exhausting, and unpredictable job on the planet.
And we are so here for all of it. Welcome, everyone, to Adventure Nannies on Air.
This is the place where we get into the conversations that are really on the minds of incredible nannies and families day in and day out.
I'm Shenandoah.
And I'm Reagan. And we're here from the team at Adventure Nannies, a nationwide agency that helps progressive, globally minded families find the talented, passionate nannies, educators, and newborn care specialists to join them on all their adventures.
We're tackling everything from the big stuff like how to navigate conversations about legal pay to the fun stuff like our go-to hacks for making travel with kids feel like a total breeze.
Along the way, we'll hear stories and learn from incredible guests, both in and outside the nanny industry.
Whether you're a parent, a nanny, or a lost person on the internet, we're glad you're here with us. Let's get into it.
Before we dive in, just a quick note. The views you hear on the show today are personal opinions of the speakers and don't necessarily represent the official views of Adventure Nannies.
And just a heads up for anyone with little ones nearby, we can get a little passionate, which means some salty language might pop up. You might want to grab your headphones for this one.
Welcome to Adventure Nannies on Air. Today's episode was recorded live during one of our summit sessions as a part of our free ongoing educational webinar series to support nannies and professional childcare providers to elevate their careers and enhance their skills. If you like what you hear, you can catch the full episode on our YouTube channel or register for our next summit session at adventurenannies.com/summit-sessions. Welcome to tonight's summit session, or today's summit session this afternoon. I don't think it's evening for anybody in here. I am super excited to have you all here with us today. My name is Reagan Fulton, and I am the marketing director for Adventure Nannies. And today we get to explore this beautiful intersection where caregiving and creativity mix. It's actually a personal, I'm so excited about this guest because it's a personal passion of mine as well. And not only are we going to talk about how to tell stories and that entertain the children we care for and some nurturing and child development stuff that we're going to learn, but also talk about creativity and talk about how you can take a passion and turn it into something and still care for children and integrate it into your life, and really just how much books and children can teach us about resilience. So I will stop yapping because I am super excited to invite our guest. We are so excited to be joined by Tara Zoumer. I'm going to read off the screen a little bit so I make sure I get her intro correct. But Tara Zoumer is also known by her pen name, Tarky Lee. Tara is a California-based artist, writer, and a professional nanny, family assistant, and household manager. So if you were wondering how she got here, there it is. She really believes so deeply in the work we do with children and that it is the world's most precious work. And she's here to tell her share her heartfelt story behind her debut illustrated book, The Giving Bath Tree. Oh, shoot. I got to turn my blur off. We'll put it by my face. There it is. And how her passion for nannying and family support led to writing it. Tara, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to meet. So you mentioned in your background, when you let me know about your background, you were raised by a Montessori teacher. You began working preschool assistant in college, but then you also got into marketing. You have a whole other crazy, beautiful, amazing story in an entire different sector that I'm sure we can't even talk on today. But you have an incredible background. Tell me about the time, go back when you were about 30, I believe, when you pivoted from the corporate world back into childcare and what brought you into this field of nannying.
Yeah, I grew up, I felt like basically at a Montessori school. I went to the Montessori school. My mom started as a librarian, ended up becoming a Montessori middle school teacher after she watched my transition from private Montessori to public. She had what I described as like a childhood nervous breakdown. It's like my creative soul getting pushed into public was so brutal that she realized there wasn't an intermediate program. So my mom, a Montessori school in Orange County, created a middle school program to help kids transition from Montessori to the public school system with a little bit more encouragement and gentleness. And so she's so inspiring. Being raised by a teacher is a very different upbringing. And if you people out there know, like over summers when other kids got to just have free summers, I had to do mommy summer school for 4 hours a day before I got to go out to like the beach and play. She was like you're learning Greek and Latin roots. She was really so supportive of our education. And then I followed like a traditional path. I went to college. I thought, oh, I'm supposed to get a job. I just all these supposed tos that as like kids have now, I feel like the younger generations in particular really burst that open of like, follow your passions. And I thought I was into PR and marketing because I really like storytelling. And then I just kept my arts and passions as like a little side thing. But after about 8 years in PR and marketing, oh, I was so unhappy. I felt like I had friends just like concerned for me, like, oh, are you sure this is like a career path you want to go down? And then I just had one brilliant friend who, your friends also are great at reflecting the stories back to you. And she said, you always sound so happy when you're talking about these years in your life. Why don't you just go back to working with kids just to like figure out your next move? You don't have to commit. And that's when I found a service called Wonder Sitter. And it's like a booking service for babysitters. And I worked with 75 families in 6 months. I really just like, I went right in the deep. My schedule was full. I had some regulars, but it really was about like and that was, I think, so formative to making a transition into the career full time, because they learned how to walk into anybody's house with a list of instructions and just jump in. And I realized I thrive in this environment. I love how different every day is. And when a kid all of a sudden is like, hey, I'd like to make a song about my toothbrush, I'm like, let's go. Like, it's so exciting to get to do fun, heartfelt work. And I just find it a lot more rewarding. That was 10 years ago. So I really did a huge pivot. I'm grateful for the way working in a corporate world actually helped me understand corporate parents. So like parents with I worked with CEOs. So like I could actually, the transition really ended up helping me, I think, in the long run, because I know what it's like for a CEO or a lawyer or someone in those worlds. So it really ended up blending these worlds for me really well.
That is really awesome. That is so cool. I say the same thing about the opposite, about how I'm now in the corporate side, but my background is nanny and helps me empathize and understand the nanny world. So I nanny for 10 years. So I love it. That's so amazing. So that experience with so many different families probably gave you really big perspective. Obviously, you also have your perspective from the corporate world. And you've mentioned that in your debut book, The Giving Back Tree, it came from a moment when you were trying to save bedtime. So give us the backstory. Tell us about how that challenge turned into this so cool book.
As every nanny knows, story time is a very special part of the day. And for a number of days, my nanny kid that I was working with said that it was my turn to pick the first story of the night. And on her bookshelf, she had The Giving Tree. And I've really felt like just reading something from my childhood. I was like, oh, I haven't read this since I was a kid. This will be something to share. I thought it would bond us. And by the time I made it to the last page, she burst into tears. Like, not just like little tears, like her little soul was crushed. She was so sad. Why did you make us read this? This is so sad. It hurts so much. And like, she was
oh, The Giving Tree is my least favorite children's book in the entire world. I just have, and people always think I'm going to love it. And I don't. And your book explains all the reasons why. That's why I smile on my face and read. Yeah, keep going. Crying, me too. Me
so
and her,
sad.
same person. Yes.
As a nanny, every time things don't go according to plan, which is like half your job, always, because I'm an artist, I just lean into my imagination. So I often ask with kids, what could we imagine that would be different? Like how could we imagine a different ending, a different outcome? Even if we can't make it happen, at least we can like do the exercise of imagining it. So I asked her, I was like, oh, like, I bet you would treat this tree stump differently. What would you do? And she liked it. It got us talking about like a new topic, and she came up with the sweetest idea. She was like, if it got cold, I would bring it a scarf, and I would take naps with it, and I would bring my dollhouse to put on top of it, and we would have cupcakes together, and we would do all these things. And I loved it. I thought it was the sweetest. Like, I was so proud of her for how caring she is too. It just was such a beautiful moment, and like just telling her I'm really proud. And like sometimes people do try to take more from us than we have to give. And this is an important lesson, even if it's hard. And so I tuck her in. She's glad that we came up with another story and like smoothed it over enough. And when I got home, I remember calling like a friend I just wanted to tell a friend like how my night went. And in that conversation with a friend, they're like, man, that sounds like it needs to be a book. Like that sounds like a story I could use. And then I sat with it. And the more I sat with it, I just felt very strongly like this is missing. This is a totally missing part of a larger story I've also expanded it too, to also like glean the lessons from nature. So tree stumps that do get cut down, they can grow back. They almost always will grow back. That's why they have to grind the stump, because trees are resilient. They're so strong. I was like, you are totally jumping ahead to my favorite part. It was like, nannies think so quickly with creativity, and you use your background, not only with creativity, but your knowledge of nature. Clearly, you understood a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of my background. I actually ran a nature preschool after I was a nanny, before I worked here at Adventure Nannies. I love nature preschools. I would consider trees like my special interest. So the idea of regenerative trees from a stump is something that I talk about all the time. I love
all the time.
And so this is something I would have taken this book if you had sent it to me 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I would have created 2 weeks worth of units and lesson plans on this book. Like this is what I would. That's how much like goodness is in this, guys. So it's
I'll stop rambling
and let you tell us a little bit more about that idea. Like, what are the messages, especially on renewal and this regrowth? Trees really can regrow from their stumps. Like we have to. Not only, sometimes you got to treat them with chemicals even to get them to, depending on what they are. Like there are.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Trees are resilient, sometimes too resilient. I have honeysuckle in the Midwest and a problem. Anyway, you know, what are those messages, and why is it so important for you to share those with the children in your lives, and obviously other children as well? Yeah. So the book actually, for me and for people who go through like a creative process, a book is actually a really long process to go through. It's not like when I sit down and paint a painting, I can have a painting in an hour and I'm like, ta-da. This took years to like get it.
Is that one of yours behind you?
No, I wish. Okay. I love this. Cool. But anyway, it's our little bee in this moment. So cute. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Adorable. Anyway, yeah. We live a very nature-centric life because nature is so endlessly fascinating to me. As a chef too, I cook for the families that I work with often. It is my gateway into teaching kids about all of life. There's destruction, there's renewal, there's communication between plants. There's so many lessons that you can learn in nature. And for this book in particular, something I had to grapple with, which I didn't expect to have to deal with, was my own anger. I had to deal with actually my own anger in this book, because when I first sat down, I'm like, are there other versions of this story out in the world? And it turns out there are, and a lot of them are very angry. I was like, I'm not the only one. It showed me I'm not the only one that feels this way. But as I was working on this, I really started, like, my partner sometimes gives me the advice of like, see if you can write your anger off the page. It's not that it's not valid, but is it helping your message, is his point. And I created a bit of balance in this book that I felt like it was very healing process to go through. So when our main character, when I illustrated, I had someone be like, do you know that looks like you as a kid? I was like, I didn't expect that. You tell yourself, you always do. Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, I see it. But as our main character meets the tree stump, it's a one-way relationship to start. Like, she really and nature in some ways can at first feel like that. When I've taken this book to a classroom, so many kids raised their hand and told me about their favorite tree. And I remember having favorite trees and things that I hung out with. So like, for the basis of the story, when it starts, it's about a little girl finding a place in this world that feels like she can go and feel reliably. She's not even cared for by the tree at first. It's just a place that she feels safe and that she doesn't need anything
it's
from the
dormant,
tree.
right? The tree's dormant.
The tree's
and dead
dormant
because like the guy chopped it down and took everything from it at the beginning.
and she goes quiet because the original story ends where she's left, and for me, I don't think the tree's happy with that. I know that
no, that's why I'm always so heartbroken for trees. Oh, it kills me every time. I won't cut down live Christmas trees, and most of the reason is that book. It just kills me. I won't do it. So
I get it. I support you. They support you.
But yeah, so she comes in, it's dormant, and
she comes in, it's dormant. The tree ends up getting to experience what is unconditional love. Someone who's loving you at your best and at your worst. And she doesn't see a difference. She really doesn't see a difference. She just knows this place is somewhere that she's found to be safe in the world, and that it brings her joy. And she doesn't need anything from the tree. And really, like our favorite relationships, people don't need things from us all the time. They just love us how we are, and they accept whatever gifts we're able to give, not pushing beyond that. Like relationships where people are pushing beyond that ended up not lasting long because they took too much, and you can feel it. So our tree ends up feeling inspired to start to question again, like, I haven't given this child anything. Why would she be so kind to me? Like, what do I really have to offer? And so she decides that she wants to grow with this girl and just grow back with this girl, which is the heartfelt moment of just getting to, and in that process too, this little girl gets to protect her friend and show her protection and safety, which in the first story we're really missing. There's no concern for safety of the tree by cutting too much and taking too much. And in this, you really get to watch her protect it until it becomes part of the community again, where everybody can be inspired by the resilient nature of. And there's a story that actually this just happened I think it was this last year in London. There's something like it's a several 100-year-old tree that somebody cut down, and everyone was devastated in the community, and it's showing signs of regrowing, which is just so cool because it's helping give people hope. Wow. I knew when I actually handed the draft of this story to one of my like straight male friends and he texted me, he's like, I had to stop reading this at work because I started crying. Am I okay? Like, what did you,
right? No, the moment, and I think that's what, like you said, like other people have written books that are like the giving tree, but trying to be, whether it's trying to with an ecological focus,
dealing with the narcissist,
or if it's or even just like purely don't cut down the trees. I've seen those versions too that that are so angry. But what I love about this is like she not only nurtures the tree, but it becomes a community. It shows kids how to advocate for a cause and how to get out there and have their voice heard and how they can bring their community in such a beautiful way and such a not angry way, which I think is something that we really, really need to learn how to do, is to do this exactly and advocate for things in a loving way, in a reciprocity is the word I'm looking for. Reciprocal way. That way.
Reciprocal. Yeah. And it's
really
so
amazing.
Some of the lessons that have translated from a nanny perspective that I also felt helped me write this book, because I was several years into my nanny career at the point this project started happening. And something that I learned, I know a lot of nannies struggle with this, which is, how do I show up for the job when I'm not my full self, when I'm not my best self, when I'm not feeling very good, when I get a migraine halfway through my shift? Like, how do I show up? And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of female born body people end up learning they should sacrifice, push it down, ignore how you feel, just get through it. And that I ended up having the experience of working with 3 young female people, and I felt really strongly that hiding how I felt from them all the time was dishonest. And it wasn't actually showing up. One of the most important things that you actually can do is model behavior. As I've done this career now for 10 years, I feel like modeling behavior is number one. You can have as many books, doodads, all kinds of things, but if you are saying one thing and doing another, your kid's going to pick up on that difference. more than any other thing that you have around. And for example, I decided actually working with the three girls that I had some things that I hadn't faced in myself. And so I told my bosses, I was like, hey, I'm going to go back to therapy, like for probably like 6 months to a year. I feel like I need to check in with myself on a couple issues I really haven't faced. And I'm working with these three young girls and I'm just like, they're looking to me like, does it get better? How do you deal with this? Like, and I was like, oh, I haven't yet. I'm sorry. So in the process of going back to therapy, I was good with I didn't overshare details of what I was going through, but I did inform. So not oversharing, but informing is the tip I give to other nannies. Like, you can inform, but you don't have to overshare. You don't need to tell everybody the specifics about what you're facing because some of it can be really sensitive. And it shocked me what happened because I would show up on a day I had maybe a session in the morning. And when I first showed up, I would just let the girls know, hey, I had a really tough session this morning. I am going to be here. I'm going to make dinner. I'm going to take you to your appointment. I am going to help you with your homework. I will totally tuck you in tonight. But beyond that, I might be really quiet today because I don't feel like I have my usual light and energy. My energy is tired. My energy is dark. I just did something really hard this morning and I don't have 90% to give you. I got maybe 20. And so if we can meet at 20 today, that would be great. And what shocked me was how they showed up for me in the course of the years in the course of that next year. Like, it got to the point where she knew my therapy day was like Thursday. And so I showed up one morning and she had made me breakfast. And I was like,
Right. Oh my gosh.
She's like, you had therapy today, so I made you breakfast. And I was like, thank you. Like, that's so nice because I wanted to show her that, like, you are still worthy of love and care, even if you're coming in down here. And that's a tricky lesson. Like, how do you teach that in a family? And I do think I try to do it for myself first. I definitely try to like show up and be honest with where I'm at because I'm a hard worker. I don't ever have to worry about like pushing myself. That's never been the problem. It's like doing the rest and like actually telling people, hey, I'm good today, but this is where I'm at. And it's such a valuable lesson because it's really cool to then they got better too. It opened up a whole like pathway of them being able to be more honest with me about where they're feeling. So they'd come home from school and they're like, bad day. I can't talk too much today. And I was like, that's okay. I respect you. Really tell me what you need if you do. If something comes up, I'm here for you. Like, and I think that's the story of like this book too. It's just about showing up. Like, one of the coolest things you can say to someone when they're in a moment of tension is, I'm here. 3 words, I'm here. You don't have to do anything. There is nothing else often that you can do to fix the situation. Right. But you can be there with them. I can hold your hand while we're going through it. I can be there for you. Put a blanket on you, get you a glass of water, tell you like life is hard some days, like, and that we can move through it. So I'm so proud. All those girls are doing so good. They've all grown into really, really, really amazing people. One of them has graduated college, which is nuts. I was going to ask where they were because that's one of the craziest things once you start getting like 10 years into your career is all of a sudden these kids who you helped raise are like graduating high school or college, and it's crazy. Yep, we're there. I'm there now. Amazing. So are these girls, I wanted to ask you about your pen name. Are these girls by chance any of the ones who helped, or tell us about the story? I know there's some kids behind the story, but tell us about how you came up with the cute name Tarky Lee. Yeah, so it's really hilarious. I end up getting nicknames in every family household I've ever been in. I've been called the family octopus, the family glue, like a couple others. But somehow, like it's always the little ones that come up with the best names, started calling me Tarky. And first time she said it, she just laughed hysterically. And then the entire family picks up. Like, even to this day, even though it's been years since I've worked with this family, they still call me Tarky. Old boss still says, hey, Tarky. Like, it's even in text. Like, and it's such a cute nickname. I felt like using it for my kids' work just because I'm an artist in so many different areas. I wanted my kids' work to really be about kids. and to be about that little part of myself and all the stories that I create from there. And Lee is my middle name. Although I've recently heard from the youngest who gave me this nickname that she's like, I don't know if I want to share it. I don't know if everybody should be calling. That's so funny. Possessive over the name. Very funny, which is why I say it's okay if people call me Tara too. I'm like, okay, I'll make space for that. But I love getting to honor this whole story. And the grandmother in particular of these girls was just so amazed. She's like, my kid didn't like the ending to a book and you wrote a whole new book. Like that's like super nanny to the extreme. Like gotta set the bar high. Well, and also like follow your own passions as well. Like kids should be a huge part of your life, but kids, when you make your whole life about nothing but the kids, they feel a lot of pressure that you don't have anything else. It's the same as if you were in a romantic relationship and your partner had nothing but you. Like it would feel like a lot of pressure. And so I felt for myself, because I would say I'm an artist, so I like to do things. And the kids would ask, have you done a gallery show? Where can I see your art? And when they ask that, I go, ooh, I better feed. Right? I better follow my own passions too, because then it became such a cool thing for them to watch me go from printing the pages off my printer to like, hey, do you like the way these illustrations look? And she requested, there's a couple little things in there that I hid in there for her because she asked.
Inside jokes. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, little things are like,
only you and her know.
Yeah.
We don't know what they are. Keep them between you.
They're secrets.
She gave us the name. She gave us the name, right?
She would kill me.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's cool for them to have seen like me come up with an idea and then make it into a thing I can hold and to show them. And so when I tell them you can write a story, you can. Like they watched me do it and they're all pursuing their dreams in a really cool way. And they have I'm not the only inspirational person in their life, but I was really glad that I got to be one of them because they do. Now they see like, oh, yeah, if I want it, I can go create it. I can go do it. So I love it. It's a really sweet story. And it's been out for a couple of years. The part that most authors are really bad at is marketing. So it's really great to get to talk about this project. I've gotten to go to a couple schools and I give it away in free libraries. If you're finding a free library in the Bay Area, I often put it's now in my son's school. You sent us 2 copies and this one we held on to, but I did send the other one to school with him. So it's now floating around over, I'm not going to say the name of a school on this, but at the local public school, which really, really is underserved district. So I was really excited to be able to, I try to send as many books over there as possible. It really is like my son picked it up. He just turned 8. And when we got it in, he actually I was like, I'm going to take this one and you can take this one to school. He was like, but I want a copy. I was like, no. After I do all this stuff, I'm going to take a video with it and we're going to do a webinar after all that. This one's going to stay here for us. He was like, oh, okay. Cause he read through it and it was one of the first books of this kind that I think he picked up once he was thoroughly reading, like once he was independently reading. And then he picked up a book like this, like a picture book that maybe he would have been read to and read completely independently. And he was so absorbed in it. Cause this was, I don't know what, 6-7 months ago or so that you sent it over. I know we've been talking for a little bit at least, and he was obsessed with it. So just like it's not only something that you will love, but the kids actually. And my kid's hard to please. He's a picky. He's a video game guy. You learn when you are reading, and a lot of parents. It's such a pain point because you really don't love all the kids' books that you read at night, and that's. There's talk about issues that aren't talked about, but when the parents are just talking, like one of them I heard oh man, I can't with the Dr. Seuss words. Like they get really too many weird words before I go to bed. I'm so tired. I don't have the energy to do that. And for everyone, it's so different. So I wanted to write something that was for both, for parents and for kids. I also really learned a lot by observing the way kids would pick books off the shelves. So it surprised me. It surprised me because she would get gifted a lot of books that had a message. sometimes the message was super obvious and it felt like having it crammed down her throat. And it's sort of like when you try to like, I don't know, put cheese on the broccoli. Like they're like, it's broccoli. I know what you're doing. Like I can see that you're trying to make me
either just give me the broccoli or give me real cheese. I don't want this broccoli and cheese stuff.
Yeah. So like a book,
You got to put that in this movie.
There was one about like superheroes having a bad day or something, and she was in no mood. She was like, no, I know what that one's about. I don't want that. And I was like, okay, all right, that's fair. And sometimes what she wanted, she would pick this book about a kid having a really awful day. So it wasn't about turning it around. It was just, I want to read the story about the kid having the bad day, and that's it. Like just a relatable book. So I realized that kids, they're so smart. They can feel that. And so what I really wanted to concentrate on was just making a good story. I was like, I just want this to feel like a really sweet story where I lose myself in the characters and I'm like happy with the characters and I'm excited by the world. And then the message will take care of itself. Like I really felt like my favorite line in the whole book for me as a adult is from the middle of her heart, she pushed right through her broken part. That line, there was a time. Yeah.
From the middle of her opened up to that page because this is one of my favorite pages. Mm-hmm. I also just love, like, you can see, like, there's so many beautiful illustrations and different people and throughout the book.
Wildly different people.
Wildly different from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different bodies, different abilities all throughout the book. And it's just so beautiful the way that, and the reason I thought of that and I wanted to open up that page as you were talking is because you talked about being able to see yourself in the book. Not only is it relatable in the fact that it's like a kid who's had a bad day, found this stump, was sad and loved it. It also is relatable to everyone who can read the book because they can see themselves somewhere in it, whether it's you're the kid or you're the grown-up who's part of the community who sees the child and is a part of that at this point in your stage of your life. It's really beautiful. And how did you talked about it being important to you to share the artistic part and other parts of your life, but how do you balance that, the time and energy that is required to do something like this? Like about it being a multi-year project. So I think that's important for people to understand is like, you don't do this overnight, but it still takes a lot of time. How do you balance the energy that it requires, especially creative energy, to write and to create art while also being a full-time childcare provider?
That's a really fair question because so many people
I struggle with it a lot.
It's such a fair question because I know most people are sitting on an idea within themselves that they crave to do and they just haven't figured out how to get it into their life. And the best piece of advice I can give is something is better than nothing. So if you work 10 minutes, say you have 10 minutes before your shift in the car, take notes on a little notes app of whatever the idea is, or what, like, it's that slow chipping away because time is a luxury that not everybody has when we have bills, our own families to take care of, on top of taking care of another family. And what I found was working on it at all made me really happy. So I was like, okay, and for me personally, some people really thrive on set schedules. My inner creative feral woman is like, I don't know that inspiration will strike me at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday when I happen to have the day off. So what I tried to listen to more was like a feeling a pull to go work on it. And I would leave things out. So one thing I can say is like, if you make space for it, it will happen. The same way in an environment with kids, we set up art zones. We set up little spots with that are like an outdoor kitchen so they can go play. We set up the bathroom things at their level so they can go do it. And we miss that, like, as an adult, you work exactly the same way. So what I would do is I would leave, for my own creativity, I would leave like note cards out with a pen, like right next to them. And I would just jot ideas or jot something down. And then eventually I would like have a stack of these. I'm like, oh, I should go through this. So like, there's lots of different ways you can do it, but making a set space, so that way you see it. It's also a cue and a prompt. Like when you come home, it's an invitation to play, Nanny. This is one of my favorite things. That's what I like to teach
Like one of my favorite things is to teach adults how to play. And that's like what I
Oh
try
my
to
God.
do. Is that like give yourself invitations to play. That, like you said, like set up a space where if you love to paint, I would like, that's one of my things. And I will say, I haven't picked up my paintbrush in a while because you know what? I packed up all my paint stuff because I wanted to do something else. And now it's in a box and I haven't painted in probably 4 or 5 months now. But if I get it back out and set it up and give myself a space again, I will paint and paint and paint. And I love it. This is like reminding me that I need to go do that. But just think about it. It's an invitation to play, guys. Just set it up. Think of yourself as a kid.
And I think right off the bat, now that I've done one long project, I'm so much kinder to myself about the next projects because when I started it, I was like, oh, I'll be done in a year. No, it was more like 3. And I've now realized too that had I rushed it, I don't think the book would have been as good because right up until publishing, I think it was like 2 weeks before publishing, I added one word that I realized was super, super important. Because there's like a scene where the tree is questioning. It's just saying like, the tree felt her pain and knew it as her own. And my partner was like, didn't the tree also feel her joy too? Felt her joy and her pain. And I was like, oh my God.
I was like gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna try to find the word that you added, but it was and joy. Oh my gosh.
And joy.
Felt her joy and her pain.
Yeah.
The tree felt her joy and her tears and wilderness. There it is.
Yes.
And wonder, could she be happy leaving below? Oh no, my gosh. This book is
because it just reminded me too, like it's not all pain. Life is not all pain. It's not all joy either though. And so having both of those is actually, it's helped me have a lot more like, I try to tell kids too, when they're frustrated picking one emotion or another, you don't have to. You can have what makes you rich as a person and beautiful as a person is having a whole bunch of these feelings encompassing one being. It's really amazing that you can feel so many things in one little body. But it's such a process of like bringing an idea from idea state to where it is. My first version of this book, totally honest, was a lot more angry too. I realized I had some of my own anger to like work through. And that's the cool thing about art. I love using art in nannying. I've sat there with kids having really awful days, draw how they felt as a person. And this one kid I worked with, she saw herself as a wolf. So she always drew the character as a wolf. And the wolf was injured. So the wolf was like, had a cut on its head and a broken arm. And so in this drawing, and I just made space for it, I said, can we bandage up the wolf now? And so we drew little bandages. And I was like, where should the wolf be? Can we pick a safe place? And she's like, let's put it in the forest. So by the end of our illustration, we had taken this wolf that was hurt and had an illustration where it was in a safe container. Did it fix all of her problems? Absolutely not. Did it help that day and help her like feel a little better and also feel like she could communicate her pain to me? Yeah, it does. So art is my favorite. I love using art. I've worked with some special needs kiddos too, where art was actually a lot easier way for them to communicate. The ones that I've worked with were into mascots and furry costumes.
Oh, okay, that's so easy because then you can put your character in any story you need to then.
And that's the really exciting thing to like, and I'm glad everyone encourages nannies to play because sitting there and feeling like you're stuck and there's no choice, that's just a lack of imagination. There's always something you can imagine as a path to like, and sometimes there's a way you can do that for yourself too. Like, this is a really interesting episode today. How is it going to turn out? Like just asking yourself how like, a lot is happening to the main character today. Where is she going to grow? How is she going to learn from this? And it's such a cool tool to get to use creativity with kids because they're massively creative. And so like, I feel like this work really has helped me hold on to that for myself. And it's something I nurture and I don't want to lose in my life because it feels so precious to get to stay creative and to stay like just open to possibility rather than feeling like there's a ton of certainty with everything. Yeah.
That is such an incredible lesson. And that's what I think that this book, and you have so much to teach, not only to kids, but to grown-ups too. So highly encourage everyone to grab a copy.
Thank you.
I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm going to talk to Tara for a couple more minutes if you come up with any and you want to drop any. The book process, nanny life, whatever it is, drop them in the chat. But while folks come up with some questions, can you tell us where's the best place to get your book? Give us your spiel. We want to hear it. Where do we get it? Where do we connect with you? All of the things. Let us know the best way.
Yeah. Amazon. I made that pretty easy. Amazon and Barnes and Noble. My favorite is the back cover of the book. That is just too hilarious.
This was actually the first thing I saw when I opened it up. Like I pulled it out to this first and I was like, oh, I'm going to love this book. Like that's my people.
Yeah. I am definitely a tree hugger and I do have a website, although I haven't really like been crazy with the newslettering of all things, but I have an Instagram page, Tarky Lee Book. So you're welcome to connect with me there. And I'm really excited for my next projects. I am working on some next projects. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Some are of like, I want to continue doing work that's like funny. And also I really like the spectrum of experience. So I want to do a book that kind of grapples with life and death in a story that I like had to have with a kid. And then a very funny story about like being silly with fear. So that
are they going to be spoofs of like classic books again? And you don't have to tell me, but I want that.
No.
Okay.
It's not my theme. I just happened to do it with this first one. Although there's a part
you could have a thing. You could have a thing. I'm just saying.
There are some.
Just don't come after corduroy. Don't come after corduroy. That's my favorite.
So I don't think I could.
You can't.
I don't think I could.
You can't make that one better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's definitely some like princess stories that I wish were different, but that's been done.
Do your passion. We'll also look at getting a link up directly because that's what I want. I'm guessing buying through your website is the place where you get the most money and other people get the least money. Yeah.
So we will have to set up a link for that. But yeah, I can set up actually a link.
And I can help you and we'll get it and we'll get one up on to make sure that you can buy it through our site too. So that way if you are on there. So we'll talk to Tara about that and get it up so that way it's super easy to find. Make sure you can connect with her because I love this book. And we'll make sure to tag her on all of this. I don't see any questions in the chat. So do you have any final thoughts to leave? You've given us so much wisdom, both about just like your incredible journey and children, but any final thoughts to leave with nannies? How do we tap into this artistic or any wisdom?
Just try not to judge what you're doing. Like that's just try to not. The judgment kills so much creativity and it can be a source of like humor. Yeah, if it looks weird, like laugh at it. Don't make yourself feel worse for like, oh, my new boss just did a drawing contest with his kids and his lion looked like it had a mustache. I don't know how he managed to pull that off, but it ended up being like a point of comedy. So take a little bit of sense of humor with everything. And also please keep reading books for kids. Books are not going out of style and they're so valuable in like slowing us down. To flip a page is a physical act that, I get it. That's easier. But it's so good to slow kids down and to just teach them that like it's okay for things to take a little bit longer, for a story to evolve, for those things to evolve. So just be kind to yourself as you're trying things out. And just remember, like, if you ever think you are not a good artist, I just always remind kids, I'm like, you ever see a Jackson Pollock? Okay. Like, do you do that? And I had a kid send me, she went to a modern art museum and it was literally crumpled paper, brown paper bag in the corner. And she was like, this is art. And I was like, this is what I'm telling you. Don't ever think that you cannot make something that you find interesting because someone else out in the world will. And so just make it. Just make it and love that you made it. And that's enough. Like, that's actually enough. It doesn't need to be more than that. So I wish everyone lots of creativity and love and trees.
Incredible. That was the best sign off, but I can't add anything else to that. Incredible. Everybody, thank you so much. Please thank Tara.
Oh, I saw a comment or a question.
I would say you're giving me a last minute. We got a comment in there. It looks like it's a comment. So I will leave that for Tara to grab. I'll grab it right now in my thread too, to make sure we can. Looks like somebody was inspired by our session today. So excited. for being here. Everybody, please tell Tara thank you for giving her Sunday afternoon to teaching us all about her wonderful book and like so much more. I feel like you gave us so much in this session. It was so amazing.
Yeah. And thank you, Nanny. Nannies are the best human beings. I love all of you so much. Anyone who just contributes to taking care of someone else, like it's really, really special work. So I'm glad I could help anybody with that person. I hope I helped you talk
Repost
with your work.
Repost.
Yeah.
Repost.
Yeah.
I'm reposting that message. Join us. We've got a couple. We're going to be off for the rest of December, but then we will have a couple more summit sessions. Just got scheduled, some part twos of some conversations we've had. So if you've been looking forward to those, keep an eye out in your email because those will be coming on the calendar soon. And the replay of this one will be up hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow will be my goal. So thank you all for being here and we will catch you next time. Have a great day.